Welcome to VMblog's coverage of VMware Explorer 2023, taking place at the Venetian in Las Vegas. Today, I have the pleasure of having Andrew Parlette, who is the Chief Technology Officer at Tricerat. How are you doing today?
Doing great, thank you.
Maybe for people that aren't familiar with Tricerat, could you give us kind of a quick overview of the company?
Absolutely. So Tricerat has been around for 25 years now. We were founded in 1997. And actually, we have a similar trajectory in our company in terms of timeline with VMware. I think they were founded a year later. But we really entered that market early in the end user computing, server-based computing market, where admins were really struggling with managing user sessions, connecting into these remote desktop and multi-user environments, and really just a litany of problems that we focused on really providing a tool set for administrators to help manage that, and really zeroed in on printing. And so over that 25 years, the bulk of that has really been focused with an obsession on printing and scanning, especially in these kind of multi-user, remote desktop, and really any kind of complex hybrid scenarios that get unwieldy and difficult to manage, really giving that solution to a streamlined, efficient environment that administrators can really deliver a better end user experience out to their customers. So that's really been our focus in delivering a virtual print driver and a full set of applications that really deliver the best in class in terms of print management in these environments.
Now, VMware Explorer is obviously a trade show put on by VMware. So if you could maybe talk a little bit about how Tricerat partners with and works with VMware, and tell us what that partnership looks like.
Yeah, so VMware obviously has a lot of different technologies and products and solutions that they work on. And so from one standpoint, there's that like the vSphere and the ESXi and that virtualization platform that so many environments run with. And from there, when you're running workloads in those environments that are Windows-based or really any type of OS that users are interacting with, if you're delivering user sessions and applications and desktops to users from that platform, then we're a layer and a solution that goes inside, most often, those Windows desktops that are then delivering those applications and access to data to those users. So a wide range of our customers also work with VMware, and from that standpoint, that's one level of the partnership that we have together. VMware also has VMware Horizon, and so that's their EUC platform where they can then deliver remote desktop technologies and protocols to connect users into those desktops. So on one layer, there's VDI from the virtualization standpoint, and then another layer of customers of VMware Horizon using those virtual desktops, but delivered through their Horizon product, which might be through RDP or PC over IP, and we integrate with that. And so in that environment, we have software to interact with Horizon components to make sure that users that are connecting in get the best service and the best performance over those protocols if you're connecting in client printers. And then once you get into that remote session, to have an intelligent, dynamic printer assignment for users so that they have the right session and the right printers and fast access to those printers based on who they are and where they're connecting from.
And now, for the people that are VMware shops or that have VMware implementations, what kind of problems does Tricerat solve for them?
So the screwdrivers solution is really a robust print management product. And so what we look at is all the different complexities that exist out there. If you're a shop that just has one printer type and maybe assigned to a desktop, that, the default printing probably works. But as soon as you start layering scale in terms of the numbers of users and desktops you're managing, and then also if you have other types of components where it might be on-prem and cloud and a mix of that, you might have different users with different print requirements. The list goes on in the different ways that really start to pull at the edges of a clean environment suddenly becoming very complex and complicated. And so the solutions we're looking at are really making sure that we can layer into these environments if you're connecting your client printers, like let's say users that are working from home and need to connect their client printers into the remote desktop environments, we can do that efficiently and effectively, really with that best-in-class virtual print driver that we have. But if you're an office environment or connecting to a desktop that's in the cloud, we have ways to manage print servers. We have options to do direct IP management without a print server, mobile devices, all different types of printers, so that we have that layer that goes on to these complex environments and gives admins one single interface to manage printing consistently and through a standard way. And that benefits the users too. It's faster for the admins. And then when users connecting into a cloud desktop or a SaaS environment or these different application delivery mechanisms, consistency is a big part of making sure that users are productive and not having to call into help desk and those type of things. So back to your question in terms of what we're providing to that VMware customer base, it's really taking those complexities of printing, solving it, making it efficient and high performing.
Now, hopefully a bit later on, I want to try to get into a demo. But as you're just describing sort of the problems that you solve, is there something you could double click on and maybe give a deeper dive into what's happening with the technology that you're offering?
Sure. And so, I've mentioned a couple of the different print paths, we might call them. So let's take one example of client printing connecting in to a remote desktop. And this is becoming even more important these days with additional remote and hybrid work from home or other locations, moving desktops to the cloud. Now, suddenly, the desktop and your data and applications are running somewhere different from the on-prem environment that you have your printers. Printing is almost always a on-prem type of an activity. I need a physical printer somewhere nearby, either like here in my home office or in my office, in my corporate office. I need to translate applications that are running in the cloud and somewhere not here down to a printer and a piece of paper here next to me. And so these technologies are becoming even more important to make sure that that connectivity is smooth and seamless. And so being able to interface with protocols like PC over IP and RDP really help make sure that all of that works seamlessly for the user. And when it's really an issue of just managing the driver in that session, we have ways to do direct IP management or print server. And so those are really where we've excelled. We're a company, like I've said, we focus and obsess over making printing and scanning correct in these environments. And so versus, a platform player that just has kind of the basics covered, we actually work through all those different use cases to make sure that the right driver is installed, and in that dynamic and intelligent way, give the admin a tool set to provide a dynamic environment out to the users, and it makes everything just work much better. And really, to touch a little bit on the messaging from VMware, you see them talk about the multi-cloud environment, and they're really at a big scale talking about the same type of things. I'm running applications and workloads and connections to different clouds and on-prem and private clouds and all these different environments, ways to manage that full spectrum through one consistent way. And we're talking about the exact same things, adding in a component of printing, but solving those same, widespread complexity problems, bringing it down to a single interface and making it consistent for the user. So the terminology really matches very closely of what you see on stage from VMware, and then what we're providing of adding that piece of the, the user profile puzzle to make sure printing is as successful as all those other technologies.
Now, there's obviously lots of vendors that are going to be sponsoring VMware Explore, some of them competitors. How would you say that your company and technology is unique and differentiated in the market?
Yeah, we've been around a long time, and we've really had an intense focus on this, the remote desktop and EUC. Having a virtual driver as a component in our solution set is a huge advantage. And so when you're looking at a hybrid environment, it's got to be a mix of being able to manage print servers effectively. Sometimes print servers get a rap of being a problem and something that needs to be gotten rid of. when in some cases just managing it properly and effectively makes all the difference. Or that might be like an office example. My corporate office runs that way, but then I have satellite offices that don't have those on-prem resources and need direct IP printing. And then you have cloud services. And so there's always these multiple approaches. And so when we look at some of the competitors, first off, the time that we've been in market and really our dedication to these solutions and continuing to build and apply research and new development into these solutions definitely makes a difference. And being able to cover these different use cases effectively is something that we're uniquely positioned for, to be able to bring the virtual print driver to remote environments, but also kind of the native print driver management as well. And that combination really makes a big difference.
And during VMware Explore, a lot of companies use the event to come out with new announcements around what they're doing as a company. If your company is making any such announcements this year, can you maybe give us a tease around what that might be? And if not, have you announced anything recently that you can highlight instead?
Yes, well, we have, like, here at the end of the summer, we have a new version of our Screwdrivers Enterprise coming out. And it's really, at this point, our roadmap is very focused on managing within those cloud workspace environments, and specifically around the hybrid approach, where it does need to connect to on-prem resources. And so just as much as it needs to work in a cloud environment, it needs to handle the various other use cases as well. And so in our new versions that we're announcing here and showing, we'll have demos at our booth where we can look at those new technologies. And for instance, one of the things is a better management of what we call printer profile. So not just getting the right printer to the user, but the right printer with the right settings for that user and that workload. And again, back to that intelligent and dynamic assignment, where it's not just a cookie cutter approach. It's really making sure that the user is empowered with the right things to effectively do their job. And so we'll be showing some of those technologies that are new. And as we continue to look at cloud deployments, both customer managed deployments in their cloud, but then also cloud services hosted by Tricerat or a combination. And we'll be talking about that as we move through this year into next year. And that'll be a point of conversation that we can have at our booth. So we're really looking forward to, at an event like this, talking to our existing customers and seeing kind of how their environments are evolving. Also making new contacts and hearing where they are in their journey to the cloud, both exciting advantages that they're taking advantage of, but also where some challenges are that we can really help them overcome and smooth that process out.
Now, VMware will be talking about kind of the big picture on the keynote stage. What kind of themes and trends does Tricerat see moving into 2024 that your company is going to be interested in?
Yeah, back to the beginning of the conversation, kind of the two layers, at least that we interface with VMware for, always interested in seeing their latest in terms of, just the normal virtualization technologies. Their themes, I think last year and continuing into this year, certainly the multi-cloud environment and universe and how to really leverage that. And so many exciting technologies they always bring into the market. And so really just seeing what the latest and particularly not just how they enable new workloads and new work types, but from an admin perspective, manage that and make it effective. Certainly going from the hype, but also kind of getting down in the nitty gritty of, okay, how does this apply into customer environments? And, what are the real solutions and benefits that come from it outside of just, the pretty pictures on stage. And through the event, that helps really dive into that through conversations and seeing kind of the side sessions and that sort of thing. Horizon is certainly another big thing, is seeing how they position Horizon. Certainly they've added on new technologies. They have a suite of different tools based on how you want to enable these kind of virtual desktop and end user computing environments. And so that's always something that we're constantly integrating with VMware. And so we'll be watching to see what avenues they take in new technologies there.
You've given us a great look into the company and the technology. Is there, I know I asked you a bit earlier, is there a way you can show us a quick demo of what it looks like?
Absolutely, yeah. Let me switch over here.
All right.
Okay, so what we have here is a virtual desktop running in Azure Cloud, actually. So really a look at how the screwdriver's components can be installed and managed, and really make printing, even in a cloud desktop environment, much more productive and efficient, both for admins and users. So just kind of a couple of highlights that I'll show here. One is the Screwdriver's Printers app. So this is our user-facing application. The way Screwdrivers works of building printers in the background, a lot of times Screwdrivers users won't necessarily even know that a Screwdriver is managing the printing, because they'll log into a session, they'll get their printer, use their application and documents, go to print, and the print is successful. So many times there's not even interaction necessary for the user. It's just enabled and just works. But we do have some capabilities in here to really empower them more. They can come in to Screwdriver's printers, see the printers that are built in their session. And this is a combination of printers that have come from print servers running in the office to a server that's in the cloud. Also local printers for me here at my home office. So all of these things join in together to have a consistent interface for my desktop session. If I need a different printer, we have a view where I can go to a map, and based on where I am and the printers that I have access to in this particular floor plan, there may be dozens more printers here, but in this case, I have access to one printer. I can come here, click add printer, and instantly with our virtual driver, that printer is added into my session. So really a nice self-service capability to empower users to take the step themselves, instead of picking up a phone, generating help desk call, and taking additional time that's not productive for neither them nor the admin. Taking a peek over at the Screwdriver's administration, this is our main interface for managing our product. And so what we have in here is a tool that will browse the local directory, and it can also assign printers to users, to groups, to devices. And so all these things are very simple view and a drag and drop interface to really make it dead simple to be able to sign these printers out dynamically. So in this case, I have a print server here that has some various printers, some Zebra printers as well. We have a section down here to manage native drivers. If you don't have a print server, all of this integrates in here to one view. And if I want to view through my Azure Active Directory to different users that I have, I can come down here and click on my user, for instance. I can see in here there's already some both assignments and allowed printers that I inherit just because I'm part of this domain. But I can easily take a new printer, drag and drop it onto this user. I can say, show that printer. And now just like that, the next time this user logs in or refreshes their printer, they have that printer available to them. So by adding it to this user, by any AD group that I'm a member of, I can come over here to a network assignment and group by IP range or the name of my client. And so like, let's take a healthcare example, for instance, a hospital that's using a Horizon VDI environment with different thin clients deployed about. I can make assignments based on this one client name, drag over this printer. And now anytime any user walks up to this workstation, they get the printer that's assigned right there. Again, it's an intelligent way to assign it so that they have it quickly and easily at their disposal. No need for group policy objects, no need for scripting, no need for manual assignments. There's different ways to do this in manual ways, but it just gets unwieldy and impossible to maintain. Whereas you can see here, it's a couple seconds for me to make the assignment, and I can come in here and see the effective assignment to that user. So a very quick and clean interface to bring all of these different print types that we were talking about all together in one. The admin interface in here is extensive for the different print technology we have, configuration. Again, over the years, we've added so many different tweaks if necessary for those environments. But for the vast majority of them, it's really assigning, adding these agents into the right areas of your network, coming in here to this administrator interface, making those quick assignments, and having it work in your environment. So very quick and easy way to see this in action. And in fact, we have a way to get a demo through Tricerat.com. And oftentimes we'll work with an engineer. Well, really within an hour, you can have the different components installed and quickly see it effective in your environment. That's the best way to see this. Can you immediately see ways that print management is faster and more efficient, and then higher productivity for your users? And oftentimes in that very short window of time, we can have that running in your environment and see for yourself exactly the advantages that a print management and a modern approach to print management can do for your environment.
Well, Andrew, I appreciate that great demo as always, and appreciate you taking time to speak with VMblog today. Before we let you go, we want to talk about some of the best ways for folks who are watching this video to learn even more about the company and the technology that you talked about. Obviously, we highly recommend folks visit your booth if they're at the show. And if you want to tell us where that's at, and then also, if folks aren't at the show, what's the next best place for them to go and sort of get involved and learn more?
Great. Yeah. If you're at VMware Explore, we will be in the expo hall at booth 221. So it'd be great to stop by. We'll have a full staff there. And like I mentioned, we just really enjoy having conversations with either customers that have used our product or new contacts. And so we'll have engineers there that if you want to talk through, even whiteboard a session or really dig into the way your environment is working, and if this is something that can be advantageous for your environment, we'd love to just have that conversation. And really, even if not there, we take the same approach with people online as well. So Tricerat.com, there's a form there where you just basically provide your name and email, and we can connect. Again, that kind of consultative approach of talking through, we talked about taking these complex environments and making them simple. Well, step one is just getting an understanding of how your applications are delivered, where your users are located or connecting into the environments. And so we can just have a short conversation and find out ways that this can apply into your environment. So we enjoy doing that all day, every day. So please don't hesitate just to reach out and let's have that type of conversation. We can set you up with a trial and really see for yourself the advantages that it has in your environment. So hopefully you're at VMware Explore and we'll see you there. And if not, then we'll talk online as well. And David and Brian, I think we've gone back many years doing these videos, so it's always great working with you guys at VMblog. So I really appreciate the time with you.
Yeah, I agree. It's always been good, great conversations, and obviously we look forward to once again seeing you in person at the show.
Excellent. Thank you, guys.
All right. Take care.
You too.